What's up? This is Patrick Hayes. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And in this video I want to talk about stepping into the sacred. How you can feel sacred right now. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because honoring the sacred and living from a place of reverence is truly the most powerful intention that I believe that you can have in life. It definitely has been for me. And this path of reverence, as you could say, the approach to life of being reverent of the God that exists in everything, is truly a path that will reveal that God to you. And the more that we can put ourselves in a place of reverence as we are moving through our life, the more we're actually beckoning the God in all things forth to reveal itself to us. And this entire kind of, you could call it like a philosophy around life or approach to life, is something that I actually want to be sharing in a 4-week online workshop that I'm going to be hosting here very soon. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about my relationship to reverence, my relationship to the sacred, how that permeates my life, and how I work to deepen my intention of seeing the sacred in all things on a daily basis as I move through my life, and the kinds of things that reveal themselves because of that. And I also want to talk about some of the other say areas of focus that I'm going to be going into when I do this 4-week workshop with you, and talk about some of the areas for how we can tune our lives up to be more, to create more space for the sacred to permeate our lives. So, to start with, presence is absolutely necessary if we're going to be moving into a place of sacred appreciation and reverence in life. And presence is something that, it can be learned, and it has a lot to do with just silencing yourself, coming into the sacred relationship with self and sacred relationship with your environment that doesn't project what we feel like we need or want onto things, and doesn't grab at things, doesn't run away from things, but actually sees things clearly for what they are. And in a sense, you could call seeing something clearly for what it is a form of unconditional love. Because love that is conditional says, I like this or I don't like this. Or only if it's this way will I respond to it positively. Only if it's this way will I respond to it in a kind way. Right? But if it isn't something that I like, then I'm going to respond negatively. But being present, not projecting anything onto what we're experiencing, and just letting the experience be is unconditional love. Because from that space of presence to truly let something be what it is, that is an act of love. Because inherent in love is an act of creating freedom for whatever it is to be itself fully. So only from a place of unconditional love are we able to actually sit and be present and let things truly reveal themselves for what they truly are. And at the core of everything is God. God is at the core of everything. And if we can create the space for something to blossom by creating the space for it to be its true self, and even in a sense holding the door open for that true self to come forward, then what we are doing is we are giving it the unconditional love, which is the watering of the seed of whatever it is that we're looking at, to reveal its God self to us, to grow into its God self right before our eyes. And you see this happen with negative circumstances, or supposedly negative circumstances. You see this happen with all of the blessings in disguise that we get on a daily basis. All those things that happen to us that we thought was maybe some terrible thing that happened. But when we relax and we are unconditionally loving and open and knowing that there is God within this, then, sure enough, up percolates the blessings and the ornaments and the beauty that exists from whatever this hardship or seeming hardship was. that had popped into our reality. But it really requires for us to not push, not pull, but just sit back and relax. And this is presence. This is all contained in being present. Because you can't truly be present to something unless you are willing to neutrally observe from a place of love neutrality, loving awareness, right? And I love that. I love that distinction, the distinction between just neutrality versus love neutrality. Because just pure neutrality might be interpreted as this kind of like flat thing that has no emotion to it. That's emotion's not even the right word, but has no real no real like divine spark to it. It's just kind of like, it's almost like you took too much Xanax. You're just completely, I don't care either way, right? And that's not the neutrality I'm talking about. It's when you move into the witness state where you're witnessing something without projections, without attachments, without opinions, then there's this vastness that is just absolutely fully permeated with this empty feeling of fullness, where fullness is emptiness and emptiness is fullness. And this is absolutely permeated with this love space. It is a loving feeling. It is a loving awareness. And this is what presence is. This is truly what presence is. And presence is absolutely key for being able to call the sacred into your life, to live a sacred life, to be on the path of reverence. Because the only way to truly revere something and to truly revere the sacred is to relax into a place of loving neutrality, to let the sacred fully express itself. Because when we try to box it in, we cut ourselves off from what it truly is. And then we can't actually appreciate the sacred. So presence is super powerful, and this is something I definitely want to go much deeper into in over the 4-week workshop that I'm going to be doing. I mean, another thing that I want to talk about and work with on, talk about and work on in this 4-week workshop is the idea of uncovering our divine priorities. And I talked a little bit about this in one of the videos that I released recently on the number one thing that I've learned from my near-death experience. I'll put a link to it right here. And what I talked about in this video was the connection that has been revealed to me to what is truly important, my divine priorities in my life. And what are divine priorities? There's a maxim I use, and it's called keep death close. And ever since I had my near-death experiences, I've known that that it's very, very important for me to keep death close. And what I mean by that is that to remember what's truly important. Remember what was revealed to me when I almost died. What's truly, truly important. And what this does is this creates a kind of divine priority, right? Keeping death close on a regular basis. Thinking about if this truly was your last day, and this may sound cliche, but there's so much deep truth in it if you actually go deep with this. If this truly was your last day, what would you value? You actually, if you really get into this meditation, and it's really powerful to think this way, what would you truly value in the moment if you knew that, you're only going to live for the next 6 hours? Well, all of a sudden, just even the breath that you're taking becomes so nourishing and beautiful because you won't be breathing again. And say maybe this was your last life, you may never breathe on planet Earth again. What a beautiful feeling and experience it is to breathe, to feel your body, to see another ensouled human being smiling at you, to hear the laughter of children as they're playing in the yard. All these different things that we take for granted become jewels. They become these sacred jewels that are available for us when we, say, come to grips with the existential magnitude of what we're experiencing and the beauty. Like, think of all of the creational energy that has gone into creating this realm for us to experience ourselves objectively and subjectively within this matrix of relation. This is incredible. how nature is fully symbiotic, and it, you know, grows upon itself, and it nourishes everything, and the sun helps everything grow, and we're on this planet that is spinning. And I mean, just think about the amount of intention and beauty that's gone into this creation that we're here to experience. It's absolutely baffling. And so part of living a life of reverence is keeping this aspect, keeping this realization, this sacred reverence available at all times, working to be operating from this space of sacredness and moving through our life with the grace that accompanies this sacredness. This is the path of reverence. And this is something that I feel is really at the core of what is important for us as humans to continue forward in this world. We see there's all of this crazy mayhem going on in the world. Everyone's, you know, all over the place. People are clinging to ideas, and people are trying to exercise domination over people and control other people and manipulate their thinking. And there's all these different things happening, right? But, you know, sometimes I sit back and I look at the complexity of all the problems, and you know, even the most intelligent minds that we have in the world right now are baffled with what to do. I mean, it's so overwhelming. And to me, this is a call for the mystical. This is a call for the shamanic to come forth within us. It's like the Hail Mary pass. It's like when there's no other options based off of what we've already known or what we've already experienced. What can catalyze us into a spiritual evolution that can call forth a truly new way of being in this world, a new way of operating, a new way of showing up on this planet. And this starts with a path of reverence, a path of bathing within the sacred as we move through our day. Realizing what our divine priorities are. Keeping death close to realize what our true divine priorities are. And operating from this space of grace in our everyday life. And as we do this, as we surrender to the grace that is here to guide us through this transition, as we surrender to this grace, we start to change our relationship to our life in a way that starts to pour this grace into everything that surrounds us. It pours into our relationships. It pours into our expression. It pours into our work. It pours into everything. It pours into our art. And this is the healing vibration. This is the wave. This is the sacred space that permeates the consciousness of humanity and alchemizes all of the tangles that are keeping us stuck in a lower form of existence. All of this can be transmuted, but it needs to be transmuted from a space of loving, graceful reverence. This is the space that it needs to come from, because regardless of how evolved our perspectives are, how much science we know about, you know, human psychology or whatever it is, all the different things we can break down, if it's not coming from the place of love, that true divine place, if it's not coming from that place, it doesn't have the juice. It doesn't have the juice to actually make the catalytic conversion, to transmute the base metal into gold for the alchemical revolution. It doesn't have that, because the real power comes from the grace that is within us. It comes from surrendering to the more divine aspects of ourself that are begging to be surrendered to and expressed through us. This is the beauty that we all have within us. So here we are knocking at the doors of our heart. How do we open up to this? This is what I want to share. This is what I want to explore with you. This is going to be a 4-week deep exploration of being able to get in touch with those divine priorities. Understand, how do we become more present? How do we use things like harmonizing with celestial bodies like the sun or the moon or the earth? How do we harmonize with these divine consciousnesses that are emitting these graceful energies as their expression of self, so that we can actually be an extension of the divine natural rhythm and the natural plan, the Gaian dream. How do we become extensions of that Gaian dream? By dissolving into the dance of that dream, by opening ourselves up to the reverence that puts us in touch with these higher, more divine essences, so that we can be conduits and true expressions of that. This is what is being called upon us now at this time. And I'm feeling so inspired to share everything that I know about this, to help us to really step into this next level of expression. I've gone through a tremendous initiation recently, and it has opened me up in a whole new way. And I'm feeling that now is the time. Now truly is the time. And I'm super excited to be here, just to talk about this, just to offer this as an opening, as a prayer to the world, as a beckoning, as a beacon, to bring people together so that we can do this as a team. And as we surrender to this grace, and it starts to reconfigure our lives, in a sense, what I believe is happening is we are in a way activating our inner avatar. This inner template, this higher self, whatever you want to call it, this aspect of ourself that has been begging to be released into, the grace that has been begging to become us. When we surrender to that grace, and it does become us, and it moves through us, we activate our own unique avatar template on this planet. And we become the change. And the change isn't about figuring out every single solution. That's part of it, figuring out solutions. But it all comes from the grace that is guiding us through the experience. So I invite you to join me on a journey, a 4-week journey. And who knows, after that we might turn it into something that's more regular. A 4-week journey of stepping into the sacred. I'm going to go over techniques. I'm going to go over transmissions, induction, steeping into different esoteric energies. We're going to talk about dissolving false priorities, connecting to our true divine purpose and our true divine priorities. And we're really just going to share love with each other. We're really just going to share space. We're going to share grace. We're going to step into the grace that we know we truly are, so that we can actually throw and catch that Hail Mary pass. Because right now, like I said, this earth is calling upon us to step into something greater. And everything that we understand could be useful, but it's not going to be what we already understand. It's going to be a spiritual transmutation. It's going to be a spiritual evolution in beingness, in essence, in presence, in expression, in grace, in tone with reverence, that is going to bring us into the frequency in which these solutions are not only possible, but are actually available for us. So go ahead and check out the link beneath this video. I'd love for you to join me on this journey, and I will see you on the inside. Much love.